Welcome back, everyone. We're here today with episode 180 of the Integrative Health Coach Success Podcast. I'm Dr. Stephen Cabral, board-certified doctor of naturopathy and founder of the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, as well as Equalife. What I love being able to share with coaches of all types. You may be a nurse practitioner, chiropractor, you might be a personal trainer, you might be a yoga instructor, you might be a proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation stretching expert. You could be anything. What I like to do is try to share with you some behind the scenes tips of how to get your clients better results and to build a career that you love. So let's get right into it. Today's topic is actually going to be the future of coaching and what it will look like. So I personally believe every single year I do a state of the industry for the IHP community. And so this year, coming into 2023, I gave you my views during that state of the industry webinar. If you haven't seen it yet, we are actually going to make it live for everybody, not just those people that checked it out at the IHP World Live event. However, we're just going to make just that one talk available probably in the future. But again, definitely stay tuned for that because you want to know what is coming in the year to come. But I believe in the future, which isn't too far off, will be something called tech-enabled services. And I'm going to get into exactly what that is. And the reason why I want you to know about it now is that you're going to want a year, 2 years or so before it comes about to already be doing it. And the reason is that what we try to teach in the IHP community is that you can't stay static, that you always have to be learning what's new, and you want to be there when not trend, because I don't want to say that. Like a trend it comes and it goes when the future is already there, right? So that's what we're always trying to create as well. All right, so let's take you down a little trip down memory lane, as I like to say. So I'm going to go past, present, and future. And you'll kind of understand then, oh yeah, obviously it's moving in this direction, but you kind of can't get there until you realize what we've been doing in the past. So back in the late 90s, I'm a certified nutritionist. I'm a certified personal trainer. I love what I do. I'm trying to figure out myself how to get well. Can't figure that out yet. But I can transform my body and I can start to feel a little bit better through nutrition. So great. So I love that and I wanted to teach it to the world. And that's basically what I did all the time while I was an undergrad and also during my Christmas breaks for when I worked, when I was back from college. And then also during the summer as well. I had 2 jobs during the summer and the evening one was in a gym. So here's the thing though, you're providing all of your services back then in the past always in person and always through printed-based materials. So again, keep in mind, let's think like it's 1998. All right, so it's 1998. I don't know about you. I didn't have internet. Like in college, we had dial-up, and so that was that. But back in Medford, Massachusetts, maybe I had an AOL disc that you popped in there, It's pretty funny too, because if you were born in 2000, you're already 22 and you can certainly be listening to this podcast and you can be a coach. We've had 16-year-olds enrolled in, IHP level 1, which is, phenomenal. So, it's fun. It's fun to kind of look back and be like, hey, I didn't even know that existed. It's like me listening to my parents say we didn't have TV when I was first growing up. Like, how is that possible? Or cell phones, right? So, but I remember those things. And the thing is, when you were helping the client, you just met with them in person in a gym or wherever. Could be at-home training, which I did as well. And what you did was you simply took them through whatever service it might be. Personal training, nutrition consultation, maybe you're a wellness or health coach back then, an acupuncturist, massage therapist, all of those things. Great. And they obviously still exist today. People still do that. Yes. Okay. But for your materials, you wouldn't just email someone. Obviously there was email back then, but it wasn't used like it is now. It's email's ubiquitous in our world right now. But even when I was in undergrad, it wasn't the end all be all. We got letters in our mailboxes, stuff like that. That's the truth, back in the mid to late 90s. So what I'm just trying to impress upon you is that back in the day, you would print out your workout, give it to a client. You would print out their nutrition plan and give it to a client. I would typically have a whole folder I would print out like how many calories and how many carbs are in these types of foods. And the client would get a big folder. And so, essentially that's a service that I provided. Okay. But then afterwards, what do we start to do? Oh, okay. Then we started to email more. We started to email more PDFs. And then obviously, and I shouldn't say obviously, but then on your website, you might allow these things to more than just your clients for download, because now more and more people started to find you online. Great. So now you're moving from like one-on-one, in-person centric, to more moving out into the ether and the cloud and internet, right? So we start to move on our website and we allow these things as PDF downloads. Much easier, much simpler, and we're now able to reach more people. Phenomenal, right? That's what the internet allows us to do. So much harder back in the day to build a business than it is right now. All right, so what are we doing at the present? Well, of course, we still have our in-person materials if we want, but most people don't want them. Like I had to stop using them in like 2012 because people don't just want more pieces of paper. They want to be able to access them very easily through an email, a folder, a shared folder. So we always did kind of shared folders with our clients, and that was the absolute easiest thing to do. Well, in the present now, with our new Ayubowen app, which basically is free, you just need a qualifying, purchase or whatever at Equalife. But again, it's part of the IHP community as well. It's all now, instead of creating a nutrition plan for every individual client, which you could do, we now have hundreds of thousands of, client appointments that we can actually use artificial intelligence in a safe and ethical and proper manner. So what we can do is we can actually build out nutrition plans that we don't have to create. We put in the metrics: weight loss, weight gain, wellness, like everyday health, or longevity. And you type in like, okay, that's what I want. And then what it's going to do is give you a whole list of meal plans for a week with all the images and the instructions. Like it's already done. Like, wow, imagine, I had to do all that literally by hand 20 years ago. Well, more than 20 years ago. So now like, all right, so what else could it do? Well, let's say the person can't have gluten, or they're vegan, or they're paleo, or they're, whatever, grain-free. You can just type that in, just click on grain-free, gluten-free. Oh, they don't want to do red meat. Okay, no red meat. Like, okay, they can't do eggs because of food sensitivity. Click off no eggs. And it just creates these beautiful plans for you. Pretty amazing, right? Not only is it great for you, it cuts down on your time, but also it has way more possibilities that you could possibly do on your own simply because of time. Like you don't work with one client, right? You start to work now with more and more clients around the world. So it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Same with workouts. I used to give clients a handwritten workout back in the day because I just didn't want to use Microsoft Excel. And then when I moved over to all Mac all the time in like 2008, I would use numbers. But again, like I still had to type it out. Then I started to create templates and I would build off the templates. And so then I didn't mind as much, right? But anyway, now, not only can you just choose your workout type, you can actually get all of the videos with it, the demonstrations, the progressions, and it allows for a lot more of a liberal outlook on your program, meaning like it's not as confined if you don't want it to be. You can still create the exact program you want for your client, but now you don't have to create all the videos. Like back in the day, I used to have to have a camera and shoot the actual exercise and then give it to the client. It was a ton of work, but now we don't have to. Pretty amazing, right? And with the latest thing with Ayubowen, and Ayubowen by Equalife is not the only app, but inside of that, well, it actually has a My Day. And you can put in your supplements, you can put in your nutrition plan, you can put in your exercise, you can bring in your biometrics, like from your wearable-based devices. It's absolutely phenomenal. And then as a coach, you get to see so much more data as to what the client is doing. Then you can make adjustments based on what's going on with the client's life. But it gets now, so that's present, right? That's present. It seems pretty advanced as well. And because it is advanced for like this moment in time, like that's very advanced. But the future, in my opinion, what is a tech-enabled service? All right, tech-enabled service is doing everything that you used to do in person, but now to a much higher and more sophisticated level. So we essentially take the artificial intelligence, which is basically automatically building based on the data that someone puts in on how to create the weight loss, weight gain, muscle gain, anti-aging, longevity-based diet or workouts or whatever it is. But now we're using also what's called machine learning. So we have hundreds of thousands of people, not just with you, but like with around the world, using the actual programs. Again, not just Ayubowen by Equalife, right? Now I'll link up to it today. So if you go to ihp.coach/180, I'll link up to like what it looks like. You get to play around with it if you want. And so here's the thing. you have all of that data. And then what happens is basically all of the data gets funneled in. Then because of certain algorithms and parameters we've created, and again, other programs create, it allows then for better outcomes. Okay, so you had 100 people come in and 83%, 83 out of 100 get great results. Okay, what happened with these other 17? They were miscategorized or something wasn't changed fast enough. And then you can start to actually automate. And how are we going to be able to do this? Like with legitimate real-time data. So your wearable devices like an Oura Ring, like a BioStrap, like a Hanu device for your HRV, like a Whoop strap, all of that's going to be coming in. And then you're going to actually be able to then regulate low carb, like it might be too much stress in the body, hard workouts if you're not recovering fast enough, and your workouts will actually begin to change. You'll be able to up your progressions or decrease the volume based on the amount of load and stress in the body. And again, it's already being created. Like we're already bringing in biometrics right now, but we're just not able to then change your programs in the same way, but it's coming in the future. Right? It's coming in the future. I can't wait to share with you in terms of diagnostics in the future. We are building a system, in my opinion, that's going to be able to predict disease. Like I truly believe that. And it's also going to be able to work in reverse as well. And we're going to be able to prove that out in the future. That's the future, right? But here's an amazing thing. Some other companies are on board with the same exact thing. There's a specific sleep mat out there. I'll be recommending it and referring it in the future. It will actually regulate your temperature during the night, meaning like regulate the pad. Because usually you set it at a certain temperature, if many of you know what I'm talking about. But the new AI is actually going to be able to lower the temp or raise it based on your body temperature. Super unique. And what it's going to do is if you happen to get out of bed to use the bathroom or whatever, it will actually warm it up so that you can get back in bed comfortably. And then as it knows you're asleep, and it knows that obviously by body temperature drop, heart rate, etc., it actually brings back down the temperature. Again, this is the future. The future is tech-enabled services, so services you would always provide, but through technology. It's going to make all of our programming that much better. Now, the truth is though, and in my opinion, we still need the humans because the humans are overseeing the program. They're essentially writing in these controls and they're providing the personal attention that the client still needs. The client needs the one-on-one attention. The client needs the accountability. The client needs to know that their data is being overseen in a private and ethical way. And it's helping them to achieve their goals. So again, I really believe that this is the future. So how do you get prepared for it? Well, the truth is just start using these types of apps like an Ayubo and, by Ecolife. And again, it's like essentially it's all free. And then like you just, if you're a practitioner that has clients in it, it's a free. So we're trying to make it as free as possible. But you can use other devices. But then also start using wearables yourself. Again, you don't have to, but if you're using like an Oura Ring or you're using a Whoop or you're using even an Apple Watch, you can put those on airplane mode. And so you don't have to worry about the EMFs. But you start to track your data so that you can then be able to share that in the future. Now, stay tuned because in January, I'm going to be launching a very advanced program for coaching clients. And I'm basically going to take in all of that data and then actually share that with the IHPs and be able to teach it to IHPs too. So definitely stay tuned for that. Again, this is coming, like it's already here, but it's not, it's still tangled, right? So we're going to be able to untangle that and then offer it just at scale to people all over the world. And you're going to be able to implement all of this one-on-one with your clients. Again, it doesn't have to be through us because you can look at a client's data through Oura, through BioStrap, through any of these things right now and adjust their programs. It's just a lot more manual. In the future, you'll oversee the adjustments, be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Oh, that worked. Oh, it's not working. I'm going to come in and I'm actually going to chat with my client about that. So yeah, I find it absolutely fascinating. This is how we're going to increase lifespan to 100 plus and really work on bioindividuality, which is what I'm all about. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it was inspiring. I love it. I'd love to hear your comments. Feel free to leave them right below and we'll talk with you soon. Take care, everybody. Have an amazing week.